Are we good? I feel like tell the truth. Well, they're real. Yeah, it should be up and running. Yep.
Thumbs up? All right, well, I welcome everybody. It's March 7th, 2022. If we could stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you very much. I'd like to welcome Selectman Harry Shaker, Selectman Steve Dunn on Zoom, and myself present this evening. We have Dennis Kokanos, our town attorney, present as well. And I don't believe we have any presentations this evening. I think that still stands. So we'll move right along to our agenda items. We have a few announcements on Saturday, this Saturday, the 12th of March, from 9 to noon, right here at Town Hall. We're going to host the American Legion Post 202 for a veteran and veteran family member coffee. It's a meet and greet, plus an opportunity for individuals to sign up or renew their membership. So for anyone out there listening, or if you want to spread the information, if you're a veteran, active duty reserve, National Guard, or a relative of living or deceased veteran, be it a spouse, daughter, son, granddaughter, grandson, mother, father, grandmother, grandfather, sister, or brother. Mind you, no aunts or uncles. It's a great way to meet people and make new friends. You can get involved in the community, schools. They've got scholarships for high school students. You can participate in events. We will have a U.S. congressional aide here to help answer questions, and our American Legion service officer there to assist, as well as our assessor to work through any tax exemption forms that anybody would like to file. If you know a veteran who hasn't filed their DD-214 with the town, please make sure you tell them to do that. And all are welcome, whether you live in Brookfield or someone you know lives in Brookfield or another town. Just for everyone's edification, the American Legion Post 202 serves Brookfield and Newtown, so it's a collaborative organization. So that's the note on the event this Saturday. Moving on, I'd like to thank all the volunteers who worked at the vaccination clinic for the time period that it was open. But the vaccine clinic closed at the end of February, and beginning in March, Dr. Sullivan and our Newtown nurse, Tracy Cahill, are available to administer any further vaccines, and they can be reached at 203-775-7314. The next item is our monthly coffee on Saturday the 26th from 9 to 10:30 at Chick-fil-A. And we'd love for you or anybody to come by and join us for any conversation or concerns, anything that they'd like to discuss. So our budget process has been underway, and the Board of Selectmen passed it on to the Board of Finance, and they've started their budget workshops. I'll touch on this later in the meeting, but on March 29th at 7 p.m., we will have a special town meeting to set the referendum date for our capital projects. And that meeting will be at the high school auditorium. For correspondence, there was a letter received from Laura Orban on the 8th of February, 2022. There was a letter received from Mr. and Mrs. Farrell on the 26th of February, 2022. We received a Housatonic Railroad Company vegetation control plan. We received correspondence from All Points Technology Corporation on the 15th of February, 2022 regarding the cell tower at 60 Vale Road. And we had Planning Commission approval of 824 referral for 8 Nabby Road, dated the 18th of February, as well as for 43 Silver Mine Road, dated the same. Our financial director is out this evening. It's her birthday. Happy birthday, Marcia. And she and I spoke about her missing this meeting, and she indicated that there's nothing new or significant to report tonight. Moving on to item 6, new items. I'd like to make a motion to recommend we amend the agenda to add letter E under new items to end Zoom as an option for our Board of Selectmen meetings.
I'll second that.
Thank you. Any discussion?
I personally, I think it's a good time to do this. I think things are lightening up. We're getting the numbers are
That's just to add it to the agenda.
right.
Recommend.
Oh, that's right.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
So anxious about it.
So item 6 alpha, the police outside services fund request, dated the 24th of February. The police are looking for an additional appropriation from the outside services fund to complete some additional construction costs on the garage structure behind the police department at 63 Silver Mine. So I'd like to recommend a motion that the Selectmen approve and forward the request of the Board of Finance for an additional appropriation of the $11,500 from the Police Department Outside Services Fund to complete the construction and cost overruns associated with the temporary garage structure located at the Police Department.
I will second that.
Any discussion?
I'm all set with that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Steve?
Yeah, I said aye. Sorry.
Thanks. 6 Bravo. So I just wanted to address this here for the record. So just so it's understood that the zoning commission will be looking at a possible moratorium for the marijuana sales in town. Did you have anything you
Yeah, I
wanted?
just wanted to add, that's something that has to go to zoning, just by statute. The moratorium has to come from them. And my partner, Attorney Schellenberg, and I have already sent over basically a draft moratorium for the zoning commission to consider, and they should be doing that shortly.
Okay.
What is the length of the moratorium, do you know?
But, yeah, well, it depends on what the zoning commission wants to do, yeah.
Thank you.
Well,
So there's no motion here, it's just to,
right, there's no
For the
action for the
record.
Board of Selectmen, and at this time, the zoning commission has to just finalize and look at the moratorium, and then it can be finalized.
so 6 Charlie. The special town meeting will be scheduled for, like I mentioned earlier, the 29th of March at 7 o'clock at the high school. And the motion that I'd like to make will be to just establish the referendum in order to have our capital projects and the town and school operating budgets included in the same referendum. I reached out to the Board of Finance to see if they're on board and in agreement with making that a joint meeting. Historically, the meetings have been separate. The Board of Finance has had a public hearing separate from the town meeting that addresses capital and sets the referendum date. So I'll be waiting to hear from the Board of Finance if they're interested in doing that.
One recommendation I made too, just to let the board know, is that the issue was trying to do it on the same night, I think for convenience purposes for the public, so they're not coming out twice. I don't think that was an issue. The only thing I recommended was there to be set up as 2 separate issues, separate notices, separate agendas, but they could kind of be back to back, so it's more convenient for the public.
So I'd like to recommend the motion, and for tonight, again, it's just for the town meeting for capital and to set the referendum date. This is excluding the Board of Finance at this time, but I'd like to recommend the motion that the Selectmen, in anticipation of the Board of Finance action on the fiscal year 2022-23 capital projects and the bond council resolution, approve the scheduling date of a special town meeting for Tuesday night, March 29th at 7 o'clock, the Brookfield High School Auditorium, to consider the capital projects and establish a referendum date for May 17th, 2022.
I will second.
Any discussion there?
Nope.
I'm all set.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 And 6 Delta. So I've had this idea of and we can call it an honor wall, we can call it a veterans wall, we can call it, doesn't have to have a name. And the idea is to, when you walk in the front door of Town Hall, to have a display case. It can be a shadow box or some sort of encasement that houses photos and biographies of currently serving, the active duty, reserve, National Guard, active Guard Reserve, whatever the case may be, but just to acknowledge all of our service members. And then we can throw in the mix and highlight, say, every 3 to 6 months, some other veterans who have previously served. And it's an opportunity for families across town to have the service of their loved ones recognized here in Town Hall. For anybody who's ever been to New Milford Town Hall, they have an amazing display case. And I just think it's a really nice touch, and it's a great way to acknowledge those who put their lives on the line for us back here at home. So the idea would be that all the funding is paid for by donations, and we have it done and completed as quickly as possible. Again, when you come through the front doors of Town Hall, you have the benches. Right now we have 2 bulletin boards. Dan Secor has been working on putting in a digital display to replace one of the bulletin boards, and then to upgrade it from just the old-fashioned print and pin your flyers. Now we can have them on a running wheel there on that digital display, and then to the left of it would be the what I'm calling here an honor wall. So that's the idea.
You want to make a motion?
Sure. Oh, I thought you said you were.
I'll make it, yeah. Recommend a motion that the selectmen approve the use of a portion of the lobby for a display case to honor our veterans, and this will be paid for by donations.
I'll second that.
Second. Okay, thank you. Any discussion?
I think it's a great idea. If you go into the police station as well, they've got a beautiful display there with the police. And I think this is great. I think one of the biggest problems with the younger generation is their contact with what's got us here, whether it be veterans or whatever. But I think this would be great to be able to walk in there and see people who have fought and served for our country going back as far as we can get, into the world wars. And I just think it'd be a great addition to that lobby.
I agree with you. Any further discussion?
Not for me.
Go to vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And then finally, 6 Echo, which we said earlier we were going to add. And the motion, I would like to make a motion to recommend removing Zoom as an option for our Board of Selectmen meetings.
I'll second that.
What's the point of that? What if somebody's sick, like I'm not feeling well tonight? I don't want to get anybody sick. I'm running a fever. Right?
I'm sorry to hear that you're not feeling well. So my question would be, what did we do before COVID when somebody wasn't feeling well?
They called in. If they were on vacation, they would call in, or if they were sick, they would call in. Zoom just seems a better way to do it rather than just calling in.
So I agree with you that Zoom is very convenient, and it is a nice thing to have, but I don't think it's equitable at this point because not all boards and commissions are able to utilize Zoom. And it's been brought to my attention that it creates excess work for the staff that we do have that's already overburdened. So, and since we are back in a fully functioning society where people can attend in public, I'd like to bring it back.
So are you saying you want to stop all participation that is not in person, even if someone's traveling or is on vacation? Or are you saying you just don't want to use Zoom?
So I think it becomes a technology issue. There's been hiccups in other board meetings where the Zoom function hasn't worked properly. And using tonight as an example, if Dan wasn't here to jump in and get it all online, Ginny felt uncomfortable if something were to have happened with Zoom. She's not our IT expert.
No, she's not.
We also,
Go ahead, Harry.
I'm sorry, Steve, I didn't mean to interrupt you. As far as non-member relatives go, non-board member relatives go, we still have the live stream. You can still watch the video. So I don't think it would be detrimental to them. I see what Steve is saying is if you are a board member, but again, I think that to terminate it completely is just a fresh start moving forward with ending COVID. And we did it for years, calling in if you're a board member and you're going to attend the meeting by phone. And I would be in favor of doing that and eliminating it.
So Harry, you're saying you agree with Tara to stop using Zoom,
Yeah,
but to
Steve,
still allow calling?
No, I think I would like to see us just end that option of attending meetings, whether it be for members of the boards or the rest. I just think it's a clean break from COVID and from, what we've gone through, and we did it for years, calling in. And so I would like to go back to that, Steve.
So you are saying calling in would be acceptable to you if needed?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
All right.
Yes.
All right. I thought you were saying, no. If you're not in
Oh,
person.
no.
you can't.
No,
Okay.
no.
Okay.
Sorry, I didn't mean to.
No, I just
The
misunderstood.
dial-in
what
would
you were
still
saying.
be an option. It would just be the technical part
Yeah.
of having the Zoom connected to these meetings would be out. And then, of course, folks can watch on the live stream, but not be able to comment.
And any member can certainly call in to join the meeting. Okay.
Any further discussion?
Nope.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I'm not in favor. I think that Zoom is a good way for people to see each other, speak to each other. So I'm going to vote no.
All right. So moving along to our updates, we have 7 Alpha. This is regarding the lease agreement that expired back in October of 2021 for the space at the HRRA, the Housatonic Regional
Resource Authority.
Resource Authority for the space they lease at the Old Town Hall. So this item is just to renew that lease. So I'd like to make a motion.
I'll second.
And just adding to the motion that this is at $1,350 per month, and it's subject to 8-24 referral as well.
Right.
And just to also tell the, I have reviewed the lease. I saw the old lease. I made a couple changes, couple revisions. For the most part, it stayed the same. So.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And for 7 Bravo regarding ARPA. So on the 23rd of February, the Board of Selectmen had a meeting to look at the recommended proposals on how to best use the funds. And we're going to have to continue those discussions. The allocation that we voted on in that meeting was for the items that are for ARPA in the capital budget alone. And the purpose of that vote was to be able to present the capital budget to the Board of Finance. And what came out of that meeting is that we collectively felt that the decisions that were made were what are in the best interest of our Brookfield residents and how they'll best be served. So for those items that were pushed forward to the Board of Finance were the emergency services study, the police vehicle, the ambulance replacement, engine 5 replacement, the life packs, the hearse tools, and the fire marshal training kit. So we will have to go back into a special session to deliberate on the rest of the items. I know we did work through some of them, but just to bring it to vote. And then if there are no changes after that, it looks like we may have some money left over, which we can either continue allocating to the items off of the list or for anything else that the board deems necessary. So that meeting should be happening within the next several weeks. And again, this was just to for the record to update the town on where we are with ARPA.
Tara, if I can, and
Yeah.
correct me if I'm wrong, either Steve or Tara, but I think pretty much the money that we're looking to allocate now is approximately half of our total. Looking in the future, you know, for the next couple of years to have money to allocate then. And also, I think, I'm not speaking for everyone, but I think our goal was to spend this money, which is going to best benefit all of the residents of Brookfield rather than certain areas. And there's been a lot of work put into this with the committee, the ARPA committee, and then meeting with the Board of Finance and the Board of Selectmen and others. So there's been a lot of care going into how we spend this money.
You bring up a good point, because aside from the list that I just read, there was a 1.9 million earmarked as well, previous, well, when the money first came down the pike. So
Right.
that's another good point to mention.
Good.
Do you have anything on ARPA, Steve?
No, you know, the decisions that we make, I know we haven't fully finished them, but it's really difficult to allocate these funds because there are so many needy things that we could spend the money on. It's incredibly difficult. So I look forward to having further discussions and getting the input from the Board of Finance on how they feel the money should be spent. And although it's not quite as important now, that 1.9 million was in lost revenues that we could allocate out of ARPA. But since they've opened up ARPA to pretty much, you can spend it on anything you want. That makes it easier for us to apply the money in a way that's best for the town.
Thank you. So if you gentlemen haven't already had the chance to look at the consent agenda, just give you a second to review items A through C.
Yeah, I'm fine with all of those.
Yes, I'm fine with this.
All right, so I'll make a motion that the selectmen approve the items on the consent agenda, A through Charlie. Any discussion?
I'm all set.
No.
All in favor?
Aye.
And moving on to number 9, our additional agenda items.
Yes, Tara, I'd like to make a motion to amend the agenda to add Ernest Davila to the Youth Commission. He is a unaffiliated term 3/7/22 to 2/5/24.
7/22 to what?
3/7/22 to 2/5/24.
Do we have any?
Second that.
Yeah, okay. For discussion purposes, do we have any information? Did he fill out any of the documentation?
Yeah, I actually received his recommendation last week and his bio, and I'll add that to the end of the appointments list.
Okay.
Did you get the bio, Steve?
Yeah.
Did you second?
Yeah, I did.
Okay.
Yeah.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Yes, and we do have all this information. We have the bio, we have everything.
Yeah.
So moving right along to the appointments then. The first one, I'd like to make a recommendation that the selectmen appoint Liam and Naya to the Energy Advisory Board for a vacancy term of 7 February 2022 to 7 March 2022 to 3 February 2025.
I'll second that.
Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. I'd like to make a motion that the selectmen appoint James Deesman as an alternate member on the Historic District Commission to fill a vacancy for 7 February 2022 through 7 March 2022 to 5 February 2024,
As recommended.
as recommended by the RTC.
I will second that.
All in favor? I'm sorry, discussion.
None.
No. None.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 For the Library Board of Trustees, I'd like to make a motion that the Selectmen appoint Robert Zinser to the Library Board of Trustees for a new term from 7 March 2022 to 2 February 2026, as recommended by the RTC.
I'll second that.
Discussion?
None.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Steve?
Yes.
The next motion is that the Selectmen reappoint Monica Pondicchio to the RBAC for a new term of 7 March 2022 to 2 March 2026.
I'll second that.
Any discussion on that?
No.
None.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
For the Still River Greenway Ad Hoc Committee, I make a recommendation that the Selectmen appoint James Deesman as a regular member filling a vacancy on the Still River Greenway Ad Hoc Committee for the term 7 March 2022 to 1 August 2022, as recommended by the RTC.
I will second that.
Any discussion?
No.
None.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And that the Selectmen appoint Rose DeMarco as an alternate member filling a vacancy on the Still River Greenway Ad Hoc Committee from 7 March 2022 to 1 August 2022, as recommended by the RTC.
I'll second that.
Any conversation? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. For Zoning Board of Appeals, I recommend that the Selectmen appoint Nahid Kazar to fill a vacancy as a regular member on the Zoning Board of Appeals from 7 March 2022 to 4 December 2023, as recommended by the DTC.
I'll make the recommendation.
I'll
I'll
make-
second.
No, go ahead. Yeah, no, go ahead, Steve.
Sorry, guys.
I'll second.
Any discussion?
None.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. For the Zoning Commission, at a meeting on 7 February 2022, the Selectmen by majority voted to table the reappointment of Francis Kwok as an alternate on the Zoning Commission for the term 7 February 2022 to 2 February 2026. I'd like to make a motion that the Selectmen appoint Andrew Kame as an alternate on the Zoning Commission for a new term of 7 February 2022 to 2 February 2026, as recommended by the RTC.
I will second it.
Any discussion?
None.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And finally, for appointments, I'd like to make a motion that the Selectmen appoint Sean Turner to fill a vacancy on the Youth Commission for a term 7 March 2022 through 6 February 2023, and to recommend Ernesto Davila for a term of 7 March 2022 through 5 February 2024, as recommended by the DTC.
I'll second that.
Just one question.
Any
Are
additional-
both recommended by the DTC?
Not Ernest.
Ernesto.
Ernest is
This is not.
unaffiliated.
So with that correction, Ernest is what? Recommended by the RTC?
He was recommended by,
By
what's her name?
Youth Commission.
By the youth, I think by the youth commission. Steve.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay, just want to clarify.
Marnie,
Yeah.
Marnie,
Yeah.
Marnie. Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. And it's time for public comment. Are there any members of the public who would like to speak tonight, or who have signed up to speak?
Everybody sign up.
Oh, I'm sorry, I'm looking at my, sorry. Andy Kane.
Thank you. Andy Kane, 5 Fernbrook Drive. I want to thank everybody for their effort. It's been a lot of work, and I know there's a lot of work to continue. It's budget season in Brookfield, and today I was driving around and gas is over $5 a gallon. It's not going down. inflation is a hidden tax. Was 7.48% in Connecticut. That was in January 2022. It's now higher due to the Ukrainian war situation and the mismanagement of U.S. fuel resources. Brookfield residents, especially retirees and senior citizens living on fixed incomes, would be hard pressed with another tax increase from their town. Even Governor Lamont talking tax decreases. So I urge the Board of Finance to deliver a zero budget increase. It's time to stop the spend and borrow insanity. Brookfield is among the highest free debt towns in Connecticut. Our credit rating will soon decrease if it hasn't already. Brookfield's taxpayers deserve a break, not another tax increase and more debt. Over the last 2 years, the Board of Finance increased the Selectmen's salaries significantly, about 25%. A glance at the newspapers this week will tell you that there's another issue in Brookfield. We've seen mismanagement with the rental properties to the tune of about $6,000 a month, lost revenue, non-open market rentals to town employees, and $30,000 payments on library building studies after residents voted that proposal down. Why does this financial mismanagement keep happening? Where is our Board of Finance? Per their charter, they claim to have oversight over Brookfield finances. Now, surely that means more than spending and building debt. I urge Chairman Glenn Rooney and his consensus-driven committee to get a grip on this spending, and especially some of the abuses that have been mentioned previously. I applaud all those who are putting Brookfield first. I want to thank you, and I have a suggestion regarding the ARPA. I'm not sure if it made the list, but hardening up our servers to prevent ransomware attacks, I'm not sure if that's on there. If it is, and it should be. That's not a high-cost item, but it could be a very high-cost item, paying those folks in Chechnya a lot of Bitcoin. Thank you very much for your...
Thank you.
Thank you, Andy.
And that was all, on the list.
Anybody else for public comment? Nope. All right. I'd like to make a motion to adjourn this evening.
Okay, second?
All in favor?
Aye?
Aye.
He said aye,
He said
Oh,
aye.
okay. Thank you. Feel better.
Thanks, Steve. Hope you feel better.
Thank you.